Welcome, everybody, to podcast number 255. Do you know how to survive a bad GC? Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome, everybody. Like I said, we are going to talk today. If you are a trade partner, how can you survive on a project where the general contractor is giving you a hard time or just does not know how to let you succeed, or where they're literally pushing you into situations where you're losing money? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. You'll see this tomorrow morning. I hope that you can feel that I have some authenticity, some authority in speaking about this for two reasons. Number one, I've been on the general contractor side of things for my entire career. And secondly, I had an experience when I was first in construction where I didn't take care of trade partners very well. And I'm going to tell you about that story a little bit tonight, and really changed the way I look at things to where I really am bought in taking care of the craft and taking care of our trades. I mean, that's the reason for Elevate Construction. That's the reason we do what we do, to bring respect back to construction, specifically to the trades, specifically to our workers, specifically to the people we care about. And we're going to do that by having trained leaders. And if we have trained leaders, then we're going to have families, people, humans, brothers, sisters, wives, husbands, partners that are preserved, because we have an environment that is safe, that is respectful, where people can enjoy going to work, and there's a good blend. I'll tell you, I was going to share this a little bit later in the podcast, but the other night I was meeting with a vice president of operations for a trade partner, and they really liked my book, Elevating Construction Superintendents. And he said, I love this, but I want you to tell me where there's a superintendent that does this, because we're going to go bid on their projects. And there was kind of a look on his face like, I want this to be true. I want somebody to be doing these things. Show me where somebody is doing this. And I just thought that was kind of sad. You know, general contractors can cause most of the issues that trade partners fall into. And you probably think I'm, being negative by saying that, but it's true. I mean, just because crash landings and pushing people around are normal in our industry doesn't mean that it should take place. And again, there are really wonderful projects that are stable, that finish on time, where people really know what they're doing. Those are the types of projects that respect people. It doesn't matter the little things that we do. It matters what we do on the project that brings out an overall success for everyone involved. I've told you a number of times about the game Silent Squares, which is an amazing simulation. I love Silent Squares. At the end of it, when the team really figures out that giving, not taking, but actually just giving first, is the only way for everybody to win, I do a reflection with everybody, and I say, how many jobs, and there's 5 little puzzle pieces, right? And at the beginning, 2 of the puzzle pieces are pretty easy to put together, but the other 3 aren't put together. And only after the teams start to give pieces to each other and mix and match and get really creative about how they're putting those pieces together in this simulation, do they figure it out. And I do a reflection. How many times on a job site is the owner taken care of, but we've burned through some trades? How many times are we okay and the owner's okay, but our trade partners are not okay? How many times are maybe 1 trade partner, 2 or 3 trade partners okay, but we're not okay and the owner's barely okay? I mean, that's how we run projects accidentally in this industry. That's not how I run them, but that's how this industry runs them. And I'm pretty critical of that, because it's not the way we should be doing things. And it all comes down to education. And so that's the other thing. Just real quick, for all of us in construction, I'm annoyed at us. Like, we're super annoyed. Not because of me, but because of the principle here. I literally had somebody tell me the other day that they wanted to go do advanced training for superintendents. It was only $800. I charged $2,000 to come to a superintendent boot camp minimum. And that's when I'm giving a discount. Usually it's $2,500 and $800 for an advanced superintendent training. And the GC's like, well, we don't really have that in the budget. $800? Are you kidding me? We'll spend that much on toilet paper in a couple of months. That is absolutely ridiculous. In construction, we are losing productivity and efficiency. We are going down year by year in efficiency and productivity. Why do we think that's happening? Because we're not learning as a group, because we don't spend time in training. We should train over and over and over and do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times as much training as we do now. For some companies, 0 times 10 is still 0. So that's not a real hard number. This is ridiculous. So I want to say, I'm not going to go off on a rant tonight. I've got great content tonight. You're going to love it. But I am a little bit annoyed. In construction, we need to wake up. Training is the only thing that's going to turn this around. And tax planning, I have to say. We have to get this done. I'm really, really, really surprised. So Katie was narrating the book, Elevating Construction Tax Planning, and listening to some of the concepts. And one day she just paused and turned to me and she's like, Jason, are people still really doing this? Are people still putting together a schedule that people can't see and shoving it down somebody else's throat? Are people really signing up bad deals that hurt workers? And I'm like, yeah, Katie, yeah, absolutely. And she's like, got a little angry and went on a rant there. And she's like, why would we still do that? And I didn't know what to tell her, because we in this industry know what to do. And yet we're still fighting. And actually, what it usually comes down to, and it could be, old-fashioned techniques. It could be busyness. It could be, anti-lean concepts. It could even be CPM. But these concepts that people adhere to and then will lecture me about and stick with, most of the time it isn't that they've thought about it. It's the only thing that they know. It's the only thing that they know. And so they're defending the learning that they did to arrive at their tenured position. And so if you damage that, if you question that, then they would have to go learn more to stay with it. And nobody wants to do that, right? They just want to stay in their tenured position. I, Jason Schroeder, want to learn every day. I want to read a book a week. I do. I want to go to trainings. I want to expand my mind. I want to admit that I'm wrong. I want to change. I want to adapt. I want to increase. This year I learned about advanced Scrum techniques. Totally changed my world. I'm constantly improving, constantly learning. But people will stick with these concepts, not because they're right, but it's because when we take those concepts away, if they're wrong, it was the only thing they knew how to do. And we're taking away their positions. I've been overwhelmed with the percentage of people in any industry that literally will only for the most part, focus on preserving their position and their job security. It's quite silly. It's quite ridiculous. We need to get this fixed. So I said I wasn't going to go on a rant, and here we are. We're probably already 8 minutes into it, and I already did one. So that's just some passion. I apologize, everybody. But I do want to say welcome. I love you. I appreciate you being on this podcast. I appreciate you sharing. I hope this is making a difference. I continually hear about projects doing better and better and better and better because of this information. I hope that is true and you're able to implement. Tonight, I'm going to give our trade partners some love. I've been only focusing mostly on general contractors, large and small. I really want to focus a little bit here on some trades. I did a podcast the other day with Brian Kaplan. Great. That was a kickoff to that. I'm going to do more of these. So let me get through some scaffolding here, and I'm going to go through some great content that I've prepared over the last couple of weeks. It's going to be good. So sit down, hang tight. We're doing this. First of all, I had somebody ask me what advice I would give for superintendents looking for work. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. If you're listening to this podcast, will you please email me, text me, smoke signal me, telepathically communicate, send a letter, something, whatever. Please email me. I want you to tell me if you have the answer to this, any advice. Even I'll repeat it here. I'll read it, whatever you want, or I'll get you on the podcast to do an interview. I don't know this because accidentally, I'm not bragging, just accidentally, I've always landed in work and had opportunities. So I've never had to actively pursue. So I really would like some help with this because I care about people, asking questions and giving feedback here. So please reach out to me for that. And for you who asked the question, please be patient with me. I'm hoping to get some feedback on this soon. I will be looking and we will see where we go with it. Before I go too far, I want to say that Elevate Construction, we do project recovery, training and boot camps, and consulting. Not only construction consulting for anything on a project, I mean, even survey, building information modeling, VDC, operations, team size, team health, team balance, everything, the whole nine, working with an owner, all of it. Negotiating change orders. Like, we do consulting for everything. If you have somebody that needs any of these services, please let me know. Also, if you have any questions, please reach out. If I don't know, just like I did with the superintendents looking for work, I will admit it and ask for feedback from other people. And if you want to attend a boot camp and you don't work for one of those supervisors that is so short-sighted they won't pay for it, please let me know and we'll get you signed up. So first of all, what am I excited about in life? I want to say, and I think I can say this on the podcast. So a group from Norway, Contact Norway, reached out to me the other day. They're going to allow me to do a presentation to their group. They're wanting to improve in Norway, and the great group of people. We had some wonderful conversations. I met some fantastic builders. And so we're going to do that event with them. And I told them, I was like, hey, I'll do a 2-day Takt boot camp or a superintendent boot camp. We'll do something for you if you get my son and me over there, flight, hotel paid for, jamming out so that we can do a little Europe trip before Reno goes on his mission next year. And so I thought that was kind of fun. So I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about that. I hope that they take me up on that offer and that there aren't any travel restrictions. So Effie just did her passport to go on a humanitarian aid trip, a little 2-3 week humanitarian aid trip. I don't know what you call them, but it's HEFY for youth, humanitarian effort for you. Anyway, I don't know what the acronym stands for, but she's going to Zimbabwe and she's going to be doing a service mission in Africa. So she did her passport and I was like, I need you. I will pay you. Get my passport for me. Make this easy. I don't have time for this. So super fun stuff. That's what I'm excited about in addition to a number of other things. So let me talk about our fans. This is from one of our listeners. I've been getting into the Elevate Construction podcast and just picked up a copy of Takt Planning. Looking forward to getting our pre-construction schedule started on the right foot with Takt Planning. Have a great weekend. Okay, so whoever sent this to me, I have to keep telling you, I need to start routing people also to leantakt.com, leantakt.com, and to our Lean Takt YouTube channel. So I almost post a YouTube video every day, almost during the weekday, of different concepts. So today I did a PowerPoint video YouTube presentation on how to do exterior flow planning to create exterior Takt plans. Yeah, great video. I mean, and the Upwork person that posts those does a really good job. She's got the channel looking real nice and pretty. And I want to get those, I want that channel to go famous. I want likes. I want comments. I want our biggest problem to be YouTube trying to monetize the darn thing and us holding back from doing that so you don't have ads. That information needs to go out as people start to give us feedback on Elevating Construction Takt Planning, the book. We will start to create QR codes, video links, where every section hopefully has one of those Lean Takt YouTube videos, and it just starts to scale. People really like videos as a reference. So I need to start routing people there, especially with it when it comes to Takt planning. We've got templates on the website where you can start. We have examples, we have pictures. I put the PowerPoint in there. Lots of great content, and we're going to continue to respond and build on that. Also have a Takt certification training, a 2-day certification training. So I'll be getting that on LinkedIn as posts are able to come out, but we really want people to start engaging with that content as well. And just so you know, Lean Takt, that company, Lean Takt LLC, Leantakt LLC, is an associated company under Elevate Construction. So we're together. I don't want to confuse anybody. The reason that we set up a separate company was so that it can scale. Obviously, it will work for tax purposes, and we can search engine optimize people specifically to that language and to that branding so that they don't get confused. So that's why we did that. So let's get into the podcast tonight. Here's the conflict. You can do much more than you are doing when it comes to making a difference on your job. And I'm talking to you trade partners out there. So I'll give you a brief summary of this story because I've done this in detail before. Katie worked for an electrical company, her dad's company, and they were doing Division 17 work on a prison, the security electronics. I was tasked by the general contractor to track their mistakes and to basically make a case against them. And so I did that, taking pictures, building reports, really mean-spirited about them and what they were doing, and didn't help. When we talk about small business enterprises, women-owned business enterprises, the purpose in my mind of the federal government doing that was to support those small businesses, and large general contractors should do that. Any general contractor should support those smaller businesses, especially if they're women-owned or minority-owned businesses. And so I did not have that in mind. So I was partly responsible for her father's company going out of business near the end of the job. Another electrician had to take over the scope, and I was acting like a dirtbag. I ended up marrying Katie, his daughter, and reconciling with the family. This is a true story. You can't make this kind of stuff up. And I really saw the perspective from the other side. That was the first time I was forced to. I moved back to Texas to live in that same area where her family was, served with them in different capacities, and really got that other perspective. And I decided that I would always support not only the craft, not only the trades, but trade partners. What some people call subcontractors. I would support them constantly throughout my career. And that's what I've been doing and I am doing. And so it's been, just really kind of a game changer for me to realize that literally they're not just independent subcontractors. They are our partners. And it is our job to make sure that they are successful, period, end of story. And so I'm now going to switch talking to you, trade partners. If you want to be successful, even if the general contractor doesn't know what they're doing, even if they put together a CPM schedule and they don't have the right overall duration, and they don't know the plan to finish the project, they don't have commissioning plugged in the schedule, they don't know how they're going to finish the project, even if it's dirty, messy, and they don't hold other people accountable, even if they're not good to work with, right? And maybe you've signed up for a bad deal. I've got 2 bits of advice for you, and I'll explain those now. Number 1, control the flow. And number 2, make sure you perform within that flow. So there's 2 different focuses. So if I was a leader with the trade partner, I would make sure that I signed up for or created, even if I didn't, only where there was a flow of work, where I could be successful. And so I'll talk about a couple of those right now. And so if I was the project manager or the superintendent or the executive for the trade partner, I would make sure to hold that line. So let's say I'm a mechanical contractor. I would say, okay, what are your geographical areas? What are your sequences in the building? These are the durations that I need in each area. This is the stagger, meaning this is the throughput that I can handle and that I can align procurement to and also commissioning to at the end. And I would build my own commissioning schedule, honestly. I would do that sequence and get my own data. And I would publish a list of dates when I needed certain things turned over to me so that I could be successful. And I would publish a list of dates of general work that needed to be done to enable commissioning. And I would sign up for a deal according to that. And I would stick to that flow. I would 100% stick to that flow. Now, here's what I'm saying. This might sound a little bit negative, but this is what happens. And we can't do this. When most of the time, and these are the worst behaviors I've ever seen. And so if anybody does this on the podcast, I'm asking you to stop doing this. When superintendents just say, there's an empty area, I want you to work there, or I need you to switch here and you need to start going faster. It doesn't look busy enough, I need more people. Or you're falling behind, I just need you to throw materials money or crew counts at that particular issue. We need to start going faster. I'm going to put more and more trades into one area for trade stacking. We can't do that. The things that trades usually deal with that make them go into survival mode, make them lose money, is when we accelerate work, when we change the schedule all the time, when we trade stack, when we create stacked work, when we leave roadblocks in their way and we don't make areas ready for them, when work is not made ready, when there's a lack of design and answers, and where there's a schedule without flow and without accountability. So when a superintendent starts doing those things, like, we are in trouble. And so there are supers out there that literally, and there's this one concept. When a project starts to go bad, they think that they will finish or accelerate by adding more people, by going faster, by adding more materials, or throwing money at the problem. And that is false. You will actually finish later than if you just focused on a flow and the discipline of making work ready. And so if you are, under the tyranny of a project superintendent or a general contractor that is doing that, they are going to be mad at you. I'm talking to you, trade partners. They're going to be mad at you either way. If you go respond and add 15, 20, 30 people to that project as they're crash landing that darn thing, they're going to be mad at you because you're not going any faster anyway. So why not hold the flow? Why not keep consistent crew counts? Why not keep people there that know what they're doing? And why not attain to the flow and hold what you had agreed upon in the beginning? If they're going to be mad at you anyway, why not do that? There are ways to get that done. Okay, if you communicate the plan, where you're headed, and you stay within that flow, you can be successful. Because let me tell you this, everything in construction is based on flow. You will only make money if you have flow. You will only manage materials properly if you have flow. Everything is based on flow. So contractors, trade partners, if you are not wanting to lose money, not wanting to finish later, not wanting to get a black eye, you had better hold on to your flow. You had better stay in lock, in rhythm, even if the general contractor is trying to push you into different directions. It even happened to me. I've been on jobs where we're close to the end. It looks difficult to finish. And so everybody, corporate, the owner, everyone's saying, hurry, add more people, add it. And I got my hands up and I'm like, everyone stop, be quiet and sit down. We are going to hold this flow till the end. And I've always finished on time that way. Okay. So I'm saying, for you vice presidents, for you director of operations, for you general superintendents, for you project managers, for you superintendents and lead foremen, for the trade partners out there, do not abandon your flow. Do not get rid of your flow, and do not start to respond to the whims of a tyrannical superintendent that is starting to tell you to go here and there and everywhere with accelerated work, changing schedules, stacked work, trade stacking, not made ready areas with a lack of design and a lack of answers. Do not do that. And the second thing, internally as a trade partner, I would make 100% sure that my foremen and my workers throughout the organization were trained well to achieve their productivity and accomplish their work within the flow that was specified. Meaning, you can be above the line, you can be above reproach if you actually produce within that flow. Now, if you start getting behind because of incompetence, lack of preparation, bad operations, then you've got a problem. It's a two-part battle here. Control the flow and flow within. Control the flow and flow within. And so these are some suggestions that I would have for you. Because as soon as you get out of flow, you will not finish with your full profitability. You will not finish on time. That's the thing. Somebody told me the other day, yeah, in construction, supers know what to do. It's just that they don't do it. And I was like, whoa, time out. That is not true. 8 out of 10 supers, when the project looks like it won't finish on time, will start to accelerate, increase crew counts, increase materials, and increase the costs, and will start to go into that barn burner when the thing that would actually land that project and control that project is to actually create more flow, actually make more work ready, actually focus that GC team on the removal of roadblocks, actually swarm the problems and fix the problems, meet every day in a daily huddle to clear work and make work ready, not to just throw additional crew counts on it. And because what you do, and you learn this in Scrum and in other scheduling philosophy, when team sizes increase, the complexity increases and production reduces. You start working Saturdays, you're only 40 to 60% effective, and it takes down the productivity of the entire crew down. It's absolutely ridiculous. When you have new crews, new people coming on site, there's what's called context switching, meaning they're not used to the program, and so productivity goes down. You really want to get done what you need to get done in a flow with the right crew sizes that have been consistently on the project. So let me give you some advice. What can you as a trade partner do to prevent this or to stop this? Number one, I and my company would only sign up for schedules that are Takt schedules. I would create my own. I would have an internal scheduler that would say, for this project, these are my historicals, these are my production rates for this program type. This is when the general contractor wants us to start. This is the throughput. This is the rhythm that we can meet. Here are the dates. Tell the trade partner the area by area. This is what we can do. This is what we can do for finishes and fit out. This is what we can do for commissioning. And basically line that all out. And if they don't sign up to that, and if you have a contract that says that the tyrannical general contractor can just make you go wherever and make you lose money because it looks busy, let me pause really quickly right there. Owners and general contractors that tell you to get more people, all they want is to please their own bosses when the project goes bad, and to be able to say, hey, I told the general contractor out there to do something about it. Hey, look how busy they are. They're responding. I'm doing my job. And busyness is waste, motion is waste, movement is waste, transportation is waste. And so when we do that, when an ignorant owner or an ignorant general contractor wants to get that job buzzing with activity, it's actually waste. They're actually losing money. They're actually taking longer to finish. It's just because it makes them feel better to their bosses for the project to look busy. I want to make sure that's clear. So if you are about to enter into a contract scenario where that's the case, then you need to increase the risk profile on that and bid it appropriately. However, if you have a trade partner, or not a trade partner, a general contractor that does use Takt planning, or even if they do use CPM, pairs it with Takt planning, or if they do CPM and they've somehow magically been able to show the flow, which I seriously doubt, if you know that they maintain a flow and that they are disciplined people and they have trained superintendents, I'd give a discount. I would sign up for that job at a discount. I would work for them and reward that general contractor for doing that, and go into it eyes wide open with the fact that you're going to make a ton of money if we hold to that flow. So sign up for the right deals and increase the risk profile, meaning adjust it if you know that general contractor will not maintain flow. The other thing is, I would lock in crew counts and basically stagger my flow, my sequence, my activities by geographical area first before I ever signed a contract with the GC. This would mean that when things started to get chaotic and they're starting to waste my money, I immediately can say, hey, you didn't meet the ready by dates. Okay, we haven't stuck to this flow by geographical area. We promised 28 people on these crews. You're asking for 40 because you're asking us to do change order work. I would have documentation there that showed clearly what we agreed to. So lock in that production, that stagger contractually. And I would, as a trade partner, not deviate from that plan. Again, I have to say this to you. the GC is going to hate you anyway. They're going to be mean and mad at you anyway. So you might as well do what's in your best interest and in the best interest of the job and have them hate you anyway. Because if you go into chaos, you're still going to get yelled at because you're not going to achieve any greater production. Let me tell you the secret for general contractors. It's not, hey, I do whatever the GC wants, and they like me, or I hold them accountable to proper practices and they hate me. No. It all comes down to intention. If you're a trade partner, and this is coming from my experience, if I had a trade partner that did everything I wanted, I love them if they have good intentions. Or if they held me accountable, I love them if they have good intentions. Meaning, I know all they want to do is have the job succeed. Okay, that's what we should do. Okay, the bad side is if you have a subcontractor or a trade partner that just does everything you say or holds you accountable, but every opportunity they send you a change order, every opportunity they turn and stab you, every opportunity they badmouth you, every opportunity they have ill intentions. So it's not, okay, do whatever you want. They like you, hold them accountable. They don't. It's you can do either of those as long as you have positive intentions. They will put up with either of those methods. It's when you have negative intentions towards the general contractor where you will not win friends. And so you might as well be a trade partner that holds your general contractor accountable to meeting those dates, to making work ready and doing what's right and staying in a flow. That is the secret. I'm telling you that's true unless you have a really ignorant leadership team on the general contractor side. So focus on completing with excellence in your time durations that you signed up for. Prefabricate everything that you can to make sure that work is ready and align all of your shop prefabrication dates, meaning arrival on job dates, to that flow and make sure your shop can meet that yield, that throughput. And I would train your foreman on lean practices if you're a trade partner. Day planning based on flow. Morning worker huddle preparation based on flow. Morning crew preparation huddles that take you through 3S'ing, removing the 8 wastes, filling out pre-task plans, and creating standard work. Mid-morning check-ins to ensure we're achieving our yield, our productivity. Lean concepts like reducing work in progress, the importance of flow, reducing inventory, right-sizing crew counts, increasing profits, maintaining cash flow, and having a good safety and quality control system with standard work and visual systems. And I would always, and this is game-changing, and when contractors do this to me, I love it. There's an exterior skin contractor that will come out the week before they're supposed to be in an area, take pictures of everything that they need in order to make those areas, that work, ready. And they'll send me a report with pictures saying, hey, in order for us to be successful next week, I need this, this, and this. I don't take that negatively. I love it. I go remove those roadblocks and then they have a flow. And I know I love it because they're doing it to succeed. They're not doing it to like turn and stab me later on in the project. So always prepare work by notifying the general contractor the week before of any roadblocks, of anything that you need made ready in your area, and be in complete control of your plan. So how oftentimes general contractors, maybe you haven't heard this, I'll tell you the secret right now. They'll say things like, yeah, it's the electrician that really led this job, or mechanical really saved us. You know, you have more ability to influence the status of that job than you think. If you think you can't come to the table in pre-construction or at any time in the job and propose a schedule, propose a flow, you're wrong. Every time in this industry, somebody tells me, Jason, you can't ask for more time in this bid. You can't ask for more time in pre-construction, or you can't ask for a time extension based on legitimate concerns, or. And then I go experiment with it, and I have an 80% yield rate. 80% of the time they're wrong. 80% of the time, if there's a legitimate design change that requires extra time in construction, I can go with these reasonable owners and get it. If there's a legitimate change order that's extended that project past what my responsibility is, 80% of the time I can go get it. You have to have these conversations. If you're a trade partner and you need that flow and you see that the GC doesn't know what they're doing and they've got this non-flow schedule happening all hidden in CPM, you've got to go say something. Okay, so I did a response, and I think this was, excuse me, Boy, I can't remember who posted this, but somebody posted this on LinkedIn. How can you take care of your trade partners? I mentioned these. So I'll switch my speech here to talking to general contractors. If you want to support them, here's what you can do to support trade partners on your project site. Number one, develop the plan with them. Number two, be 100% transparent with them about how we will build the project so they can properly bid it. Number three, always be fair with them, especially when it comes to dealing with your own self-perform. We should treat everyone equally. Do not just favor your own self-perform. That's like a cancer for most general contractors. And for any of you self-perform people, I love you. And you're probably the bane of their existence. And you're probably not accountable. And you're probably asking for favors. You're probably playing favorites. And you're probably like doing some shady things on your project. And you've got to stop. Number four, care about the trade partner's finances and don't play financial and negotiation games with them to make a dollar. They need to make money as well. Stop playing that game. Number five, don't overpower trade partners with field or project engineers and bully them with paperwork. Number six, always create flow and use Takt planning. Always do this, even if you have to pair it with CPM contractually. Until I can get rid of CPM in the industry, you'll have to do that. Number seven, make areas ready for their work so they can flow. I think we're on number eight. Over communicate with your trade partners every day. Number nine, ensure they are actual last planners by integrating them into a collaborative planning system like Last Planner or Scrum. 10, respect them enough to hold them to high standards. 11, always say thank you and send emails to executive leadership when things go well. Number 12, when things don't go well, lean in and work together to recover and meet as often as you need to get that back on track. This is an important subject to me. And if you think that I'm being critical on you, general contractors out there, I might be, but I do it because I love you and I respect you. And I'm telling you, most of the trade's success comes down to you and your leadership, and you cannot afford to be ignorant. If you're listening to me, I hope you're listening to me. If you're a super with the GC, if you haven't been to a certification training in the last 12 months, you're not cutting it. If you don't read a book, at least one a month, you're not learning, you're not cutting it. If you're not learning things like Last Planner, Scrum, Takt planning, all of these advanced concepts, lean concepts, you're not cutting it. It's a statistical impossibility that you can lead that project right without being a continual learner. And so you have to stop being the roadblock. Absolutely. A superintendent should not be in control of the project if they are not learning. If you're not learning, you are not qualified for your position. If you are not learning, you are not able to be a project superintendent. If you are not constantly learning and adapting and figuring out better techniques, you shouldn't be in your role. You need to continually learn. If you literally learned from your mentor 10 years ago and you're still doing the same things, you are the problem. And I'm saying that again because I love you and I want our people taken care of. You cannot be the most ignorant person on the job and lead that project. You don't belong there if you do. So our current condition is that the profitability of a trade partner is mostly determined by the quality of the superintendents. And that comment that said, from one of our trades saying, hey, show me a superintendent that does these principles in elevating construction superintendents, that was sad. The other thing for us supers, and I love that, somebody gave me a cultural index test today, actually. And I got my results back and he texted me and said, hey, Jason, you're definitely a super. And I turned to one of my good buddies at lunch and I was like, you know what? I'll always be a superintendent. I am a tried and true superintendent. It's in my blood. It's been in my ancestry. My ancestors are builders. It runs in my family. It's in my blood. I've been in the field my entire career. I write about it. I think about it. It's who I am. I'm a superintendent. Let me level with you. Elevating construction superintendents. I'm staring at a box of them that I give out here in my recording booth right now. That blue book are the most basic fundamental principles of a super. I'm writing a book right now called Elevating Construction Senior Superintendents, and after that, I'll write a book and these books will be 4 or 5 times as big as that first one, for elevating construction general superintendents, we haven't even started on what a real superintendent does. And if a trade partner just told me, hey, I can't find a superintendent in our industry that does even these basics, then we have a long way to go. We need to step it up. Let's go. Step up, expect more. Let's go. We have to be taking care of our trade partners because that's what we do. That, just so you know, if you're a superintendent that burns out trades, you are not a superintendent. You are a user and a taker. If you take care of your and I want to just stop right here real quick. For all of you supers out there that are learning, that are doing your best, that are advancing, that are doing everything you can to scratch and claw forward. For all of you superintendents out there that take care of your craft, that do nice bathrooms, that are doing barbecues, that care about your trade partners' financial status, that will hold your trade partners accountable. You are amazing, and I praise you right now. I love you, and I need you to keep going, and I want you to know that I care about you and that I'm cheering you on. You are amazing. For those of you who aren't, you need to get your act together, okay? That's just all there is to it. So our challenges, we really need to make the measure of success for a project is that everybody wins. If you had to burn out a contractor to get to the end of that project, you failed. I award you no points. Try again. Game over. We need to get this done. So I will end where I began. What can trades do to survive? You need to 100%. And I'll go back to the little catchphrase that I had, control the flow and flow within. And you need to hold your GC accountable, and you need to make sure that you're always doing the right thing regardless of what people ask you. Here's the last secret I'll give everyone. I'll close this down. When your owner, meaning of the project, tells you to go do stupid things like, oh, there's an area over here that's not being worked on, get additional crews to mobilize early. That's stupid. They're just doing that out of an abundance of ignorance, okay? When they tell you to do that, whether they actually want you to do that or not, it doesn't mean you have to do that. You contracted to do the right thing. You contracted to flow. You need to have a conversation before you just go blindly do that, okay? Like that's what it is. And trade partners, if your general contractor told you to go get out of flow, start trade stacking and do unsafe things, you need to have a conversation before you just go blindly do that, because it's not the right thing. We need to start getting around this concept of like, let's do the right thing. And I want you to remember that whether it's the GC or the owner, we in America, in the United States, are not incentivized to do the right thing. I'm going to say it again, the more chaotic the schedule, and that's why people love CPM. The more chaotic the schedule, the more that data is hidden, the more crap and risk and financial loss they can shove onto you as they make stupid decisions and blame everybody else and get out of the situation, clear and free from a reputation standpoint. Don't let that happen. Have it clear, visual, locked in, written down, contracted, do the right thing, because if you as a mechanical, electrical, or framing contractor get out of flow, guess what? You've got 20 other smaller contractors that are going to follow right along with you, and you've just set an example of walking off the edge of that cliff. We cannot do that. In the United States, we are not incentivized. Nobody is incentivized to actually do the right thing. It actually benefits the owner if the information is hidden. It benefits the general contractor if the information is hidden. So do not let your flow be hidden. It needs to be up in everyone's face, and you need to hold it, and you need to have data, and you need to explain what your dates are that you need, and you need to explain what needs to be done to clear areas to make your work ready. As long as you're doing it for a proper purpose, for good intent, not to hurt the GC, not to hurt the owner, but to help the project and everyone else, you will succeed, you will win, and you're doing a great job. These are the principles. These are true. And I'll say this. When it comes to CPM, I invite, if somebody wants to prove me wrong, give me an argument, but don't just tell me that this is the way we've always done it. Anybody in this entire world is invited to show me how CPM isn't hurting and killing and destroying people and families and can actually bring a good case and show that, I will repent and admit it on this podcast. But in the absence of that, I'm calling everyone out. We have to see the visual flow to even begin to make a difference. Somebody was asking me the other day about construction. I was like, no, we lose productivity every year. We won't even begin our 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30-year journey in construction of getting better and increasing productivity until we start to make schedules with flow. We won't even start it. And so we have years or 5 years or a decade to even get people out of this horrific, siloed, disgusting, dragon sickness, hidden, just horrible system of scheduling that we are in all the time. You have to make sure as a trade partner you hold on to your flow, and general contractors, you make sure to hold that flow for your trade partners. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing,